All right, so we had the last two updates on the job search, the rental car, the DoorDash. I think this is the conclusion. So, for the conclusion, you know what I got for you: some knowledge. The Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law number 2. Never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to use enemies. Judgment. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical, but hire a former enemy. They often become spoiled and tyrannical, but hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Keys to power. It is natural to want to employ your friends when you find yourself in times of need. The world is a harsh place, and your friends soften the harshness. Besides, you know them. Why depend on a stranger when you have a friend at hand? The problem is that you often do not know your friends as well as you imagine. Friends often agree on things in order to avoid an argument. They cover up their unpleasant qualities so as not to offend each other. They laugh extra hard at each other's jokes. Since honesty rarely strengthens friendship, you may never know how a friend truly feels. Friends will say that they love your poetry, adore your music, and envy your taste in clothes. Maybe they mean it, often they do not. When you decide to hire a friend, you gradually discover the qualities he or she has kept hidden. Strangely enough, it is your act of kindness that unbalances everything. People want to feel they deserve their good fortune. The receipt of a favor can become oppressive. It means you have been chosen because you are a friend, not necessarily because you are deserving. There is almost a touch of condescension in the act of hiring friends that secretly afflicts them. The problem with using or hiring friends is that it will inevitably limit your power. The friend is rarely the one who is most able to help you, and in the end, skill and competence are far more important than friendly feelings. All working situations require a kind of distance between people. You are trying to work, not make friends. Friendliness, real or false, only obscures that fact. The key to power, then, is the ability to judge who is best able to further your interests in all situations. Your enemies, on the other hand, are an untapped goldmine that you must learn to exploit. When Talleyrand, Napoleon's foreign minister, decided in 1807 that his boss was leading France to ruin and the time had come to turn against him, he understood the dangers of conspiring against the emperor. He needed a partner, a confederate. What friend could he trust in such a project? He chose Fouché, head of the secret police. His most hated enemy, a man who had even tried to have him assassinated. He knew that their former hatred would create an opportunity for an emotional reconciliation. He knew that Fouché would expect nothing from him, and in fact, that would work to prove that he was worthy of Talleyrand's choice. A person who has something to prove will move mountains for you. Finally, he knew that his relationship with Fouché would be based on mutual self-interest and would not be contaminated by personal feeling. The selection proved perfect, although the conspirators did not succeed in toppling Napoleon. The union of such powerful but unlikely partners generated much interest in the cause. Opposition to the emperor slowly began to spread, and from then on, Talleyrand and Fouché had a fruitful working relationship. Whenever you can, bury the hatchet with the enemy and make a point of putting him in your service. Never let the presence of enemies upset or distress you. You are far better off with a declared opponent or two than not knowing where your real enemies lie. The man of power welcomes conflict, using enemies to enhance his reputation as a sure-footed fighter who can be relied upon in times of uncertainty. All right. So we have in that here the little red that I didn't read, that I'm going to come back and read. And this one says, image, the laws of ingratitude, knowing what would happen if you put a finger in the mouth of a lion. You would stay clear of it. With friends, you will have no such caution, and if you hire them, they will eat you alive with ingratitude. Authority, know how to use enemies for your own profit. You must learn to grab a sword, not by its blade, which would cut you, but by the handle, which allows you to defend yourself. The wise man profits more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Balthasar Gracian, 1601-1658. Men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure. Tacticus C.55/12080. Profiting by our enemies, King Hero chanced upon a time, speaking with one of his enemies, to be told that he had stinking breath. Whereupon the good king, being somewhat dismayed in himself, as soon as he returned home, chided his wife. How does it happen that you never told me of this problem? The woman, being a simple, chaste, and harmless dame, said, Sir, I had thought all men's breath had smelled so thus. It is plain that faults that are evident to the senses, gross and corporal or otherwise notorious to the world, we know by our enemies sooner than by our friends and familiars. Plutarch 6.46/120 AD. Like I said, guys, the little red and the red here. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. Judgment. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. Keys to power. Most people are open books. They say what they feel, blurt out their opinions at every opportunity, and constantly reveal their plans as intentions. They do this for several reasons. First, it is easy and natural to always want to talk about one's feelings and plans for the future. It takes effort to control your tongue and monitor what you reveal. Second, many believe that by being honest and open, they are winning people's hearts and showing their good nature. They are greatly deluded. Honesty is actually a blunt instrument, which bloodies more than it cuts. Your honesty is likely to offend people. It is much more prudent to tailor your words, telling people what they want to hear, rather than the coarse and ugly truth of what you feel or think. Interesting. More important, by being unabashedly open to make yourself so predictable and familiar that it is almost impossible to respect or fear you, and power will not accrue to a person who cannot inspire such emotions. If you yearn for power, quickly lay honesty aside and train yourself in the art of concealing your intentions. Master the art and you will always have the upper hand. Basic to an ability to conceal one's intentions is a simple truth about human nature. Our first instinct is to always trust appearances. We cannot go around doubting the reality of what we see and hear, constantly imagining the appearances concealed something else would exhaust and terrify us. This fact makes it reluctantly easy to conceal one's intentions. Simply dangle an object you seem to desire, a goal you seem to aim for, in front of people's eyes, and they will take the appearance for reality. One way to hide your intention is to talk endlessly about your desires and goals, just not your real ones. You kill 3 birds with 1 stone. You appear friendly, open, and trusting. You conceal your intentions, and you send your rivals on time-consuming wild goose chases. Another powerful tool is throwing people off the scent is false sincerity. People easily mistake sincerity for honesty, seeming to believe what you say gives your words great weight. This is how Iago deceived and destroyed Othello. Given the depth of his emotions, the apparent sincerity of his concerns about Desdemona's supposed infidelity, Othello distrust him. How could Othello distrust him? If you would believe that deceivers are clever folk who misled with elaborate lies and tall tales, you are greatly mistaken. The best deceivers utilize a bland and inconspicuous front that calls no attention to themselves. They know that extravagant words and gestures immediately raise suspicion. Instead, they envelop their targets in the familiar, the banal, the harmless. Once you have lulled people's attention with the familiar, they will not notice the deception being perpetuated behind their backs. The grayer, the more uniform the smoke in your smokescreen, the better it conceals your intentions. The simplest form of a smokescreen is facial expression. Behind a bland, unreadable exterior, all sorts of mayhem can be planned. Without detection, this is a weapon that the most powerful men in history have learned to perfect. It was said that no one could read Franklin D. Roosevelt's face. Baron James Rothschild made a lifelong practice of disguising his real thoughts behind bland smiles and nondescript looks. Remember, it takes patience and humility to dull your brilliant colors, to put on the mask of the inconspicuous. Do not despair at having to wear such a bland mask. It is often your unreadability that draws people to you and makes you appear a person of power. Interesting. A sheepskin. Oh, okay. And then here's the reds. It's the reds. The red words. Image. A sheepskin. A sheep never marauds. A sheep never deceives. A sheep is magnificently dumb and docile. With a sheep skin on his back, a fox can pass right into the chicken coop. Authority. Have you ever heard of a skillful general who intends to surprise a citadel, announcing his plan to his enemy? Conceal your purpose and hide your progress. Do not disclose the extent of your designs until you cannot be opposed. Until the combat is over, win the victory before you declare the war. In a word, intimate those warlike people whose designs are not known except by the ravaged country through which they have passed. Ninian D. L. Enclose, 1623 to 1706. It puts us at Law 4. And I'm going to conclude with that. Thank you guys for everything you've done for me. Please like, subscribe, comment, stay tuned. I got so many ideas for the next video coming up. Like, you guys, I'm finna have some fun with this. And I'm finna have a day job here soon too, so don't count me out. Just remember, God is good all the time. Be humble.